Hey, everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest is a brand new IFBB Pro League Classic Physique Pro. You might know him from Instagram as Austrian_powers. His real name is Leo, and I'm going to try this right. Say it right. Leo Mayrhofer? Mayrhofer?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Mayrhofer, yeah.
I can spell it. I'm looking right at it. It's Mayrhofer.
Yes, most of the Americans just say Mayrhofer.
Yeah. So when did we meet? We met at the New York Pro. Was it last year or the year before?
It was last year, yes.
Yeah. And we were talking, and, everyone and their grandmother says, I'm going to be a pro. I'm going to be, and I sort of roll my eyes because if I had $1 for every person that said they were going to turn pro, I'd have a lot of money. But congratulations, guy. You actually did it. That's why I'm skeptical, because you have no idea how many people tell me I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I wait and see until it's done because, that's when we're dealing with. So you are a new pro. You just turned pro at the North American. So you must be, you got your U.S. citizenship too, apparently, at some point.
I got like an exception. I'm a resident, and I asked Gary Udit if it's okay if I bring my papers, and he responded, yes.
I mean, we have so many ways to turn. Americans can go to like any country now for these amateur Olympiads, Arnold Classics.
Yeah.
At some point, they're just going to say, whatever, you guys want to do the USA or national, let's go, let's do it. Because we'll send people to their shows. It doesn't matter anymore. NPC Global, it's called Global now. But anyway, I want to get some background on you because I don't know much about you at all. So where did you originally grow up? And what kind of childhood did you have? What things were you interested in as a kid?
Oh, I grew up in Germany, right in the center. It's called Kassel. There's the biggest art exhibition in the world every 5 years. It's called Documenta. And we also have World Heritage there. So that's why a lot of Asian people come over to visit now, since we have that. My parents are both musicians. So I didn't grow up like super privileged, but there was always enough. And I had a great childhood. So I really can't complain. My parents always had my back. And although they can't relate to bodybuilding, but they always support me. Like whenever I come home and visit, my mother asks me what to cook, and like it's they're really supportive, and they're proud of me. And yeah, I came here with nothing, with a duffel bag, and basically did a contest, won that in LA, stayed there.
Well, let's go back. You were an athlete before bodybuilding. You were a high level athlete in cycling, which we all know from the Tour de France and Lance Armstrong. How long were you doing that for, and how high a level did you compete at in that sport?
So I competed at a pro level. I competed in professional stage races, and although I was the highest level amateur, so it's always that in those stage races they invite some really good amateur teams. So you can find me even on procyclingstats.com or something, some results. And I did that. I started way too late, actually. I started in 2012, and I worked the ranks up, and I was even state champ at mountain time trialing, which I was too tall and too heavy for because I was always working out.
Oh.
But the other guys were like so skinny and shorter than me. But there were even like entries in forums about me that I must be doping and stuff. That guy is way too big to win a mountain time trial and stuff. Yeah, that was funny. So I had the potential, and I actually wanted to go full pro and lose all my muscle. But I just told me next year you're going to do one sport only, full gas. And I was too old, so I would have to race the first year without salary to prove myself. And like I didn't want my parents to pay for me like for a whole year, and that would have been tough for them too, because like as musicians, if you're not superstars, you don't earn that much. So
it's any art. They're artists. It's whether you're a writer or a painter or a musician. Most of them do it for the love of it. They don't get a lot of money for it. But I'm just curious because that seems like an expensive sport too. With all there must be traveling, and I bet those bikes, they must cost a lot of money though. Those aren't just regular bikes.
Mostly sponsored. That was mostly sponsored. like as you climb up the ranks, you get that stuff for free. But when I started out, I had to just pay myself
Yeah.
For the bike and all that stuff. But fortunately, I only had one big crash, and yeah.
Now, I'm just curious, in a race, these stage races, how many miles do you go in a certain amount of days?
So I did the Vuelta Dominicana, for example. That was like 8 stages and like I think like 800 miles.
Oh my God, 800 miles. Oh my
Yeah,
God, that's
but
crazy.
like a stage itself,
Yeah.
usual road stage is a little longer, but the time trials there were two. They're shorter, so it doesn't add up to that much. But I think the longest stage was like 195 kilometers, like 130.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kilometers are less than miles, I believe.
No,
Uh,
1.6
one
kilometers
more than
is a
that.
mile. So yeah, it's less.
Yeah. Okay. Still,
0.6.
that's a lot of biking. So you were into weights and trying to get bigger muscles long before the bike career.
Yeah, I started training in 2010. I was really lucky. I had a great coach back then, and like it was only $25. I lived in Berlin, and 3 days a week there was a coach for 2 hours,
Hmm.
and I was free on those times, these days. And he did Mike Menser high intensity training, 4 seconds positive, one
Yep.
second hold, 4 second negative,
Yep.
and I did 15 reps. So
Hmm.
one set was like 2 minutes, 30 seconds or so, and my central nervous system was so fried.
Hmm.
Like if I training 3 times a week was more than enough. Like I don't want to train like that anymore. That's
Well,
so
everyone's
hard.
going to want to know what kind of results did you get? Did you get good results doing that?
He gave me a nutrition plan. I ate almost 3 times as much because I was so freaking hungry. My metabolism went through the roof, but I gained like 20 pounds in a month.
Wow. So
Yeah.
that's a testament because most bodybuilders who do the traditional volume training would think that Mike Mentzer HIT stuff is garbage. That because your workouts are probably like 30, 40 minutes at the longest. I'm guessing.
No, it was it was maybe more like an hour and 10 or so.
Was it like
Yeah.
full body 3 times a week?
No, no, no. I just
No.
did legs once a week, and uh, I think I did push pull legs, but just like everything like once a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Push pull legs has made a big comeback. Let me tell you, everyone's doing that now.
Yeah, I'm doing. I've been doing that like almost forever because I always felt like I recovered very fast,
Yeah.
and I thought like if you do, for example, 30 sets a week per muscle group,
Yeah.
if you do 2 times 15, you will perform way better than if you just do it once. Like the last 15 sets,
Yeah.
you can't tell me that they will be as good as if you do it on another day.
Right.
And I just did a DNA test. I got a sponsor called Mudo. They do DNA tests,
I saw that.
and came out that I have like the highest possible recovery rate
Oh
that came
wow.
out there. So if anyone tells me to train something once a week, I can show them now on paper, dude, that's not good for me. I mean,
Well,
or could be
that
better.
actually sounds like a really good tool for people that want to know
It's
how
awesome.
well they recover. Because
It's
some people
awesome.
probably do need to I bet there are people that once a week
Yeah.
for body part would be ideal. And
Yeah.
you're two times a week is probably best for most people, I think, if they're not going crazy on the volume. And I bet there's some psychos out there who could grow from 3 times a week. Yeah. Yeah, you got your
Yeah.
Gaspari Shaker Cup. We'll talk about Gaspari soon. But
Yeah.
I'm just curious, what inspired you to start with the weight training and bodybuilding? Was it a movie or a magazine, something you saw?
It was funny. Like my father has always been pretty ripped,
Yeah,
and he had always had huge veins on his forearms. I
yeah,
always loved those. I was like, dang, I want to have those. And I
yeah.
was always like we say not dad, we say papa.
Papa, yeah.
Flex your bicep, show me your bicep. When I was like 6, and then when I was like 12, 13, I had like a tiny bit of fat on my lower belly.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to do a diet. And I counted calories and stuff.
Oh
Like, did a
no.
diet with 13, super stupid. And always like push ups and pull ups.
Yeah.
But I never stick to it till I was 18. And I watched a lot of Jean Claude Van Damme.
Yep.
So I love that guy. I started stretching even. at home, like on a ladder, and I always try to get up a little higher.
Yeah.
And also, of course, the Arnold stuff, like
Wait,
running.
did you get your legs between the two chairs like he did in Bloodsport?
No, I
Huh?
didn't get that far, but I could easily kick someone in the face that's pretty tall. So
Good enough.
yeah, but I can't do that right now.
Yeah, I would think so. So you were doing that. You were trying to get bigger and stronger while you were doing the bike racing. I imagine those were
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
at odds with each other.
yeah. At that time, I could most of the time, like I could maintain. I couldn't really gain because when you ride like 100 kilometers in the morning, you're not gonna like do personal records at night in the gym.
Right.
So when I focused, like in the winter, I put on a lot because like in Germany it's snowing a lot. But I'm always like I'm a crazy guy. Like actually, no matter what weather, I would freaking ride my bike.
Oh
Sometimes
wow.
it was so dangerous
Oh, and
because it's pretty mountainous where I live. It's
yeah.
perfect for training. But when you go like downhill and you don't know if there's ice underneath
Oh,
and it's
dude.
all snow, and with those thin tires,
Yeah.
but but the good thing is when you ride on by yourself,
Yeah.
the only way you crash is actually you slip, and then you just slide on the surface, maybe have some scratches or so, but actually nothing really bad happens. The bad stuff is always when you're in a bunch,
Mm.
like in the peloton, and then someone crashes and everyone into each other, and that's uncontrolled, and then shit happens. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the videos that end up on like Tosh.0 and ridiculousness, where like one guy crashes and then they all end up
Yeah.
crashing and they're going downhill. It looks like they're all getting messed up pretty badly. So when did you start visiting America and start training at American gyms?
That was pretty much when I met you first.
Oh,
That's pretty much when I like for the New York Pro in May 19.
yeah.
I came over and I totally fell in love with Bev's gym, and there I also skipped my first flight, so I only booked a little less than I actually stayed, so I stayed a week longer,
Yeah.
and the camaraderie in the U.S. Many say there is not that much anymore, but it's so much better than in Germany.
Really?
In Germany, everyone's competition. Everyone feels like, oh, the other guy's competition, or when there's something um, like with a corporation on YouTube or stuff like, oh, you got less followers, I'm not gonna do anything with you, and
Hmm.
and they're like
Wow.
all they fear each other somehow, and
Huh.
it's not really like, and they talk shit behind their backs. I mean that happens here too, but I don't feel to that extent. Like most of the people are like to me are more encouraging, and maybe I'll just meet the right people. I don't know, and
Yeah.
then there are a bunch of dickheads I don't know, but
So
but
you
so
went to
far
Bevan,
it's way
you went,
better here.
which gyms? You went to Bevan Steve's? Did you go to MI 42 in Tampa?
No, no,
No?
but I was in 2017. I was in Miami for 7 weeks. I also skipped the flight there. Was
Oh,
supposed to be there 2 weeks, and I trained at there. I trained at Miami Iron Gym,
yeah.
and that was funny because when I won the contest in LA on the Fit Expo,
Hmm.
um, the owner of the Iron Gym like showed up, and I was at a booth, and he was just like looking at me like this, and I was like, I know that face. Wait, and then I realized it was him. So yeah, there I also met Alex, who was now the athletes manager of Gaspari, and we
Oh,
trained back then together at Legs at the Iron Gym. Yeah, that's a pretty hardcore gym. That's pretty cool. Um, Other than that, which gyms did I train at? Um, what I really liked was an animal barbell club at
mm,
Matawan, that's New Jersey,
yep. Hmm.
and it's called Fitness City. There were Animal did some photo shoots with Roman Fritz there back in the day. They have an
Oh,
outside section.
hmm,
There we had barbecue, and I trained with John Jewett because he was training the same thing that I did.
yeah.
And I know Derek, and he always wants to invite me over to Tampa. So I think I'll go there soon.
Right.
Um, yeah,
So
and
when did
and
you start competing? Did you start competing in Germany or here?
oh yeah, I even competed during my bike riding.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I did the natural shows in Germany,
Yeah.
but mostly I was like somewhere in the middle. But I did natural bodybuilding. So first I did men's physique natural, but that was stupid. And I mean, like, I couldn't train my legs, but my legs actually looked a little better then compared to my upper body than now. So I think my legs are lacking a little more now than back then. Maybe about the same, but I have really hard time putting on size on my legs.
Do you think it's? I'm just curious because I know with biking, there's like indoor biking where they do sprint work. Because I think the guy is German or Austrian. They always show his
with the
pictures.
myostatin deficit. Yeah,
is that what it is? He's got the biggest. He's got bigger quads than 99% of all pro bodybuilders. This guy, but
Robert Försterman.
Okay. See, you know his name, but he does like sprinting stuff on an indoor track, right? So yours, the stuff that you do, 800 miles, hundreds of miles. That's just like a marathon runner, except you're on a bike. So it's endurance. It's millions of reps, basically. I imagine, now that you're not doing that, you'll be able to put the size on. But that must have hindered your leg gains. I mean, just the overtraining aspect of it. Millions of reps, for God's sake. Going on.
I barely trained legs when I was a bike rider because, like, I could decide, like, what's going to make me better, like leg press and squats or riding your bike. And of course, riding your bike is better for riding your bike fast.
Sure.
So, but I also had like more of a bodybuilding approach in road cycling too. I did way less distance than other guys per year, like maybe 2/3 or even half. But the funny thing is, the longer the races were, the better I was, because I was always doing intervals like crazy, like falling off the bike, like more the bodybuilding approach. Like, you have to show yourself where your limitations are, and like even overcome them somehow to show your body, to signalize your body. You have to adapt. You have to be better next time. And I try to always hit new PRs on certain most of the times it was mountains, like uphill, because if there's like tailwind like crazy, you'd be faster. So
I'm curious, Leo, how young were you when you started learning English? Because I don't even hear an accent. Your English is perfect.
Oh, thank you. It was like in Germany, it's mandatory from the 3rd grade, and we have 13. So for 10 years, I learned English at school, but in many schools, the first 2 years are just drawing. But in my school, I picked a lot up, and that was good because in the 4th grade, I got to know one of my best friends from Liberia, and he came to Germany. I met him outside playing soccer, and he couldn't speak any German, but I knew English already. So we could communicate, and I brought him to my soccer club and into my school, and I socialized him.
Right on. Good job.
Yeah.
So, at what point in competing did you know, or did anybody tell you that you had good potential, that you could take it to a higher level? Because most people that compete, it's a hobby and they know they're not going to ever be anything special. When did you decide, I'm really going to go for this?
That's funny. Like, I decided to go for this in 2016, but pretty much the only person who really believed that I have the potential was myself, because I was just looking at myself. I think I have really good eye, and I was just looking at myself and my muscle bellies, where everything attaches, and I knew from the years before in the natural federations that when I'm shredded, I have like all the striations on the planet. Everywhere you can have one, I have it. So I was like, why not? Like, you basically only have to put on the size and don't get a belly. And it's going to work. It's going to work. And now, like most of the people were like, nah, you're never going to make it. Your legs are too small, whatever. And why don't you stop doing the pro qualifiers and just go and do some national stuff? I did some national stuff, qualified for the nationals. Then they disqualified me because I did the NPC 6 months ago.
Oh.
Because the nationals in Germany are from the IFBB Amateur League. And someone like told them that I did an NPC show 6 months ago because they didn't know. Someone like,
So that's the other IFBB. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I couldn't even do that.
I don't
But
say their full. I don't say their full name. It's like what's a Voldemort? You don't say Voldemort. He who shall not
yeah,
be
yeah,
named.
okay,
I don't talk
yeah.
about them.
You
But
can beep it out.
so when did you decide that you liked America so much that you really wanted to live here and be a part of the country?
Um, I think already like in July or August last year, I was like, I'd really like to live here.
Mm,
But when I came to LA, and I was just like, it was just like so perfect, everything, and training at goals. And Michael Hearn invited me to train with him. I was like,
mm,
you asked
yeah.
me? Okay. Like people were great, and everything's perfect. Um, yeah, then it turned around a little bit with the COVID stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, like, I don't know, like maybe in the process somewhere I was like, yeah, totally, like maybe like, yeah,
So
can't burn.
everyone's 2020 was affected differently by this COVID pandemic. How did it affect you in any bad ways, and how were there any good things that came out of this pandemic quarantine for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the best year of my life in terms
Mm,
of financial and competitive success. So,
yeah, yeah,
and I was like, right away, I was like, I won't let anything like break me or stop me or whatever. Like, and then there's always opportunities. So I made a little money with Bitcoin even and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. You, like in the beginning, many of my German online training clients jumped off
yeah.
because they were like, "Ah, we can't afford it anymore," and that was bad. But then others came and it went better and better, and I can't complain. Like I I I found always found a way to train in some underground studio gym that like opened up at nights, and I would ride my bike for 5 miles
Hmm,
and hit back and forth like 10 miles.
yeah.
So just to train every day,
Because I mean,
and
you came here with like a duffel bag and not a lot of money, right?
oh, I had some money saved, so that
Okay.
was good, but not like what Americans would consider a lot. So I
Oh,
always had to earn my
oh,
my salary, my I had to have a little income. So
yeah.
and I lived in in one room with other people in the same apartment.
Dude, LA
But
is crazy expensive now. Woo.
oh yeah, it's like that room was pretty cheap, was for LA,
Yeah, for LA.
and cheap for LA is like $1,000.
Yeah. I mean, were you near the ocean at all?
Oh yeah, I was pretty close.
Okay.
I could walk to Gold's. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
pretty close. Like
Yeah.
with my bike, like 3 minutes.
You know, Indiana Avenue around the corner? If
Indiana.
if you take a left from the front door of Gold's, I think it's the second street over, going left. I lived there for one summer, and my God, it was a hellhole. But anyway, yeah, it was
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Crips.
I
The
know.
Crips ran that neighborhood. But you had a cool experience at Gold's with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Tell me about that.
Yeah, like that was like 1 month after my win at the Fit Expo.
Yeah.
So at Goals, you can there's an outside area, and you can put off your shirt there and train. And I always use that for a little tanning. So I did some shoulder presses, and I Arnold was there in the corner, and he was filming or being interviewed or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, then he came up to me and said like, "Oh, you look shredded. Let's see some shots. Front double bicep." And then he was like, "Let's see a vacuum. All great vacuum pulls." And then I did the last spread, and he was like, "You could fly away with those things. Fantastic." And he knew like from one day before that I was Austrian, but
Yeah.
I never like went up to him like a fanboy. I always said just "Guten Morgen," like "Good morning"
Yeah.
in German, and then he said in the end like "Fantastisch." That means
Fantastic.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like keep going. and that was.
It froze on me there. Skype froze, Leo.
Oh shit.
Oh, there we go. We're back. We're back. We were frozen for like 2 seconds. Yeah. So yeah, did you speak to you didn't speak to him in German at all?
Not not much. He was like going away afterwards, but saying like I should keep going like that, and he said like just fantastic in German. The rest, because there were some people around,
Yeah.
and like watching that, and that's why he kept it in English, I guess, because they wouldn't have understood. So
Did you get a picture with him?
no, I didn't. I went after him. I went after him that time.
Yeah.
But he was like out like right away. I was a little how do you say over the mountain, like confused, like what the fuck has happened.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I should go after him, and then I didn't find him anymore. But I had to do some tricep still after that, and then I was starting to cry. That was crazy. Yeah.
I've been trying to get a picture with that guy for many years. Almost got it at the Arnold this year, but when I actually had someone from the Arnold committee was going to hook me up, but then they had like an emergency meeting with the governor of Ohio or something. The pandemic screwed it up, but I'll get you, Arnold. One day I'm going to get that picture.
It's easy. It's easy. You only gotta, when you visit, you gotta go to goals like 6:30 in the morning, and he's always there.
Yeah, the Arnold Classic is not the best time because he's got a
everyone.
squad of people surrounding him and keeping him safe, which makes sense. I'm glad I would too if I was him. But other good news, you are now a Gaspari nutrition athlete. Tell me about that. How'd that happen?
Yeah, Alex contacted me after the pro turning, after turning pro, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to get you on the team. You deserve this. You worked so hard," and he's been following me for those 3 years since we got to know each other. And I was like, I had another offer that was actually better, like financially.
Yeah.
But I was like, I wanted to work with someone I know and have it more like a family, not being like just a number or a face, but really know the people. Because whenever there's some misunderstandings in writing and you don't actually know each other, this could like always go wrong somehow. And I had that before and really wasn't cool. And with Alex, I always know like if he would be pissed because of something I wrote, which he might have interpreted wrong or something, or the other way around, we can always like call each other or Skype and like we know each other, and that's way better. I just like to have it like a little more like family, not so much like only business. Of course it's business, but
so Rich retired when you were a very small child. It was a long time ago. I was a huge fan because that's more my era. Were you a fan of Rich when you started bodybuilding?
Oh yeah, totally. Because I always studied bodybuilding, like everything. I watched Olympias like from like every freaking year, and I can really relate to him because he's also someone people wouldn't say he had the greatest genetics, and he also figured everything out by himself. He was a pioneer and stuff in nutrition, and he did stuff no one knew about, like leaving gluten out and all that stuff. And I don't, but that's a personal thing. Like I can deal with it. And he was the first guy with shredded glutes, and the like in 1985, I think it was when everyone was like, "Dang, we've never seen that before." Right. And I can relate to that because, like, I think I have good genetics, but not the greatest. And I also like my glutes get shredded first.
Wow.
So yeah, like before my abs, like my glutes have striations. So that's why I'm also very thankful that the classic shorts became that much shorter. So yeah, I can show that now, and I have the
Those old classic shorts were like bike shorts from bike racing. They were ridiculous. As soon as I saw them, I was like,
little shorter, but yeah, they were too long. That was I didn't like that. I think no one really liked that.
So your conditioning, I've looked at your contest shots from the past couple of years. You're right. Your conditioning is always spot on. Have you always been your own coach, or do you work with somebody for that?
No, I've always coached myself.
Dude, 100 points for you. Good for you.
Yeah, like
I love hearing that.
I also like that whatever I present is a 100% me. And the thing is, I learn through that. I'll just not blindly follow anything. I just have to know why, what is happening, and also I coach. I coach athletes too, and I turned Urs Kaliczynski pro last year. He's the youngest German pro ever, I think. Wow. He became pro in Classic in Iceland. Huh. The show where Hafthor Bjornsson did his only powerlifting meet ever, I think.
Oh, wow.
I met his father, Hafthor's father, and it's genetics. He has like sausage fingers, like that is insane. And he's not fat. He's pretty. No, the father. I mean, the father
is the dad the same, like super tall,
yeah,
super wide,
super tall, not that wide, but pretty skinny, like, but huge hands, huge. Like he won't ever need any grip helps, never.
Yeah, I mean, because some of those events, like the bar is this big around. A regular person could never even get their hand.
Yeah.
Because like I've stood next to these guys like Brian Shaw and Hafthor and just marveled at how they literally are giant human beings. Like their heads are twice the size of a human head. Their hands are like the size of a catcher's mitt. Their wrists are this big around. Yeah, they're totally different, almost like a different species. Literally giants.
Yeah.
So North American, I'm curious, was that show? The date never changed because that's been a very challenging thing for a lot of bodybuilders this year. They'd prep for a show and then the show got postponed or got canceled or the date changed or then the city changed. Did North American, was it always in the same place and same time and it didn't change?
No, they changed the hotel, I think, and it was supposed to be in another hotel, and the show was supposed to be inside the hotel or almost inside.
Yeah,
as I think, yeah. Mm-hmm. And they changed that. They made it like outside in a tent. But I really got to say kudos because that stage was like spotless, like really good. It was pretty wide, so there were a lot of competitors that could stand to each other in a comparison, like 8 at least. And it didn't feel like a tent show. Like it was made really well, and and it was like 2-minute walk from the hotel, and the hotel was shit, I have to say. But I think they were just overwhelmed. I don't know.
I heard they had 2,000 competitors.
Yeah, it was like, I think it's never been that many.
No,
but I was pretty sure it's gonna happen, because in Pennsylvania they hadn't opened up like California, like open up, then shut everything down, and then slowly build up to open up again. So I was like, it's probably gonna get a little better by time till we get there. So if it's on now, I thought it's probably not going to get worse. So in 6 weeks, it will still be on because if there's a slight increase, they won't change any regularities. But they even did. They changed like the amount of people that could be in a gathering, and that's why they had to move it in a tent.
Right.
But they did very well, and I'm very happy that, of course, that it took place. Yeah.
So I always ask this: what was it? The pro card is something we all aspire to, we all dream of, we all work. That's what you work so hard for. What was it like for you when you finally, that moment where you knew you would achieve that goal?
It was insane. Like the guys like backstage also told me like, you got this, you win that. You're so shredded. You look really good. Um, and and I was like still skeptical, but that gave me like a little confidence, of course. And then we went out like top five, and yeah, they counted down the numbers, and I knew if he's not going to say 774 now,
Yeah.
I'll be second and win a pro card.
Yeah.
And then he didn't say that, and I looked at the other guy, I shook it, was shaking him, and like, dude, we got the fucking pro card.
Yeah.
And then like we went off stage, and I shouted like, fuck yeah, like pretty loud. And then backstage, I was all alone there, and I cried so hard, like so desperately, but it was such a great kind of crying, and it was like my stomach was full of stones, and they were all coming out, and it was just I'd love to cry like that every day. It's just such a great feeling.
Yeah.
And but still, actually, I haven't realized it really. So I think when I do my pro debut, maybe I'll be like, because I stand next to the guys like which are my idols, and maybe then I'll
So a
realize
lot
it.
of guys get their pro card and they disappear off the face of the earth for sometimes a year or 2 years. But you're
Yeah.
going to be up there in three. We're doing this interview on a Thursday. Chicago Pro is 3 weeks away from this weekend as we're doing this. You're going to be in Chicago Pro, right?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. Yeah.
Come on, think about it. You're doing it. Come on, guy. You got to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I mean that's great. I applaud you because, like I said, it always bothers me because back in the old days when I was starting out, these guys like Levroni or Flex or whatever, they turned pro and boom, they were right there in the mix. They
Yeah,
didn't wait. They
the
didn't
thing with
disappear.
classic, is, in the open you have 10 pounds more weight cap,
Yeah.
and I was 200. My weight cap is 205. So now, like when I come in, like the very same,
Yeah.
I'm 15 pounds lighter. So I'll try to come a little fuller.
Yeah.
Like and trying still to be the most conditioned, but a little fuller. So I'll risk a little bit there, but I don't like. Otherwise, I look too small, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was really like not to say anything negative, but I saw the Hurricane Pro, and I'm like, I should have done that because I mean that wasn't there. There wasn't no one I knew before, and
Yeah.
they did that lineup. That lineup I could have made top five 100%.
Yeah.
And as Chicago, I don't know. I think it's the last show to qualify for the Olympia, so that's probably going to be pretty stacked. But whatever.
But you know what though, I
I have
think
nothing to
it's
lose.
and not only that, it's a good thing, Leo, to do a tough show with a really strong lineup because now you know how you compare to the best. If you go to a smaller show where there's no names and let's be honest, the quality's not that great. Even if you win that, what does that really mean? It's like, who did you beat? Did you beat anybody that's going to ever be on the Olympia stage? Probably not. So, it's a ballsy move to jump into a show where it's going to be a tough lineup. There's going to be a lot of good guys in that show in all the divisions, guys and girls, because they want that Olympia qualification. But it also lets you know where you stand. And I think it's no matter how you do, it's going to let you know where you stand and what you need to work on and, how you fit into the mix of things. Whereas a smaller show, not so much. It doesn't really, no matter what happens, it's not really a great indication because, like I said, it's not.
Do you know who's going to do the tan?
A tan? No.
Okay.
Somebody.
Because the last tan, I gotta give kudos to them too.
Okay.
The tanning at the North Americans, I think it was Olympia or something.
Yeah.
Olympia tan, that looked spot on, like best tan ever.
Was it a Tim Gardner show? No.
No, it was Gary Udit.
Okay, so it's probably different. I feel like I could be wrong, so someone will correct me, but I feel like promoters tend to use the same companies. Yeah. So Tim probably uses the same company, and Weinberger uses the same company at his shows, and so on and so on. But your tan always looks great, so I think you'll be okay. Whoever does it. How bad they're going to mix that up? I think the people that have to worry a lot about the tan are the ones who can't get any base tan. The people really, really pasty white, to them, a tan is make or break. But if you have a good base tan
Yeah.
and everything, I think all these companies that do the tanning at the shows are all pretty good from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so we're going to see you up there pretty soon. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Because
can't
I've
wait.
never seen you compete. And, I got to sit there I got to congratulate you in person for turning pro because, like I said, everyone their grandmother tells me I'm going to turn pro, and you know, probably 1 out of 100 of those people actually do, and 50% of them I never even hear about ever again. It's like they give up, or
Yeah.
I don't know what happens to them, honestly.
Yeah. For me, I'm like most of the guys when you ask them about their past and their competitive history,
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, yeah, I didn't really diet for my first show when I won it, and I'm like, so the opposite. I lost and lost and lost and lost, and then I got an overall, and then I got the next overall, and then I got the next overall, and now I'm here. But it took me a while. I wasn't like winning right away, like all of these guys. Maybe that like the natural guys. There's a lot of competition, you gotta say, because there's always like 30 guys in a class.
Right.
But still, like I wasn't like I didn't get my motivation from winning.
Yeah.
It was rather from losing, and then I got to get better.
Well, you know what? I honestly, I've known so many guys with awesome genetics. They won so easily. They didn't have to diet that hard. They didn't have to train that hard. Most of them just gave up out of boredom. Like it wasn't a challenge. It was like, I'm good. I always win. It wasn't exciting.
Yeah,
But it's the guys like you who got beaten, and every time you got beaten, you got hungry and hungry because you didn't want to get beat
yeah,
anymore. And eventually, you weren't getting beat anymore. You were beating everyone else. So I find that so much more inspirational than just some genetic freak who diets for like 5 days and wins a show. Big
yeah,
big deal. Good for you. Yeah, it just means you really lucked out with your DNA. So anyway,
yeah. I
cool.
know my DNA right completely now. That's awesome.
That's right,
That
guys.
thing
Go to
tells you
his
everything.
Instagram, Austrian_powers. In the bio, there's a link to it. I'm going to look into it. I want to
Yeah,
find out if I'm
like
like part dog.
and right now it's even 30% off. So it's like $120. Like that's like blood work, and you also get your vitamin deficiencies and all that stuff. So you basically get some kind of blood work, but through saliva, and you get all these genetic things, and also for nutrition, which is really good. So they tell you how you react on carbs, how you react on if you're prone to become diabetic, then you want to stay away from too much growth,
Yeah.
or yeah, like all these kind of things. Yeah, some people they're like one pro told me he can get away with 8 units without using an insulin.
Oh my God.
That must be like the super hard gainer.
Yeah. Well,
I
everyone's
didn't use
different.
any growth or insulin for my show. Just saying, but I know all that stuff because yeah, I just
Growth
I'm
is
just interested.
so freaking expensive. Damn it.
Yes.
Oh man, it kills me how expensive it is. I don't use it, and that's why I'm cheap. I don't want to spend all that money on it because unless I'm not going to be Mr. Olympia regardless. So why bother? So cool. Well,
Exactly.
Leo,
That's what I
we're
tell everyone.
looking great getting to know you, man, and we're going to be at the Chicago
Likewise.
Pro. Muscular Development's going to be
Likewise.
there, so we'll catch you
So
there
cool.
too, man. We're definitely doing full coverage. I want to showcase all the athletes like yourself, everybody working hard for the last chance to qualify for the Olympia. It's gonna be a great show, man. Great show. And you'll be glad, regardless of how you do, whether you're first place or 10th or 15th, you're gonna be so happy you were part of that show because Tim puts on really good shows. He makes the athletes feel very comfortable. Everything you need, he takes care of you guys. Crowd's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a good time, man. I guarantee you.
You think there's gonna be a crowd allowed?
Yeah, Tim wouldn't have a show with no crowd. The Florida
Ah,
shows, the two shows I've been to in Tampa were 50% capacity. So if a place seats 600, they allow 300 in there. It's not bad.
nice.
Yeah, because
That's cool.
I can't
Some
imagine
feedback
no.
from the crowd.
Did North American have a crowd? It did, right?
No, zero.
Oh, geez, dude, I'm sorry. You hit a shot. You want to hear people go, yeah, you know?
Yeah, we had to do the presentation round on house music, and I
Mm,
went out and danced to it,
yeah.
and then I flexed my thighs on the beat, and then I started with the lat spread, and I looked into the judge's eyes, and there was one woman, and she was going crazy. She loved it. So I had a little crowd.
I'm gonna have to find a video of that, dude. I'm gonna have to look that up. Cool.
I can't find it anywhere.
Well, I'll try Google. I'll start there. We'll see what happens. All right, man. Well, Leo Mayrhofer, thank you so much. Appreciate the chance for the interview. Getting to know you finally. This interview has been a long time in the making. I know that. And yeah, congratulations, man. You did it, man. You said you were going to do it, and you did it. So that takes a lot. Takes a lot. This is not an easy sport, as we know. So
no, it isn't.
Cool, man. Well, guys, follow him. Follow Leo on Instagram at Austrian_powers. Cool name. I'm glad he got it before somebody else did. And you will see him on stage his pro debut very soon, just a couple weeks away. The Chicago Pro in Atlanta, Georgia, because nothing's where it's supposed to be anymore because of COVID. Cool, man. Well, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity for this. And that's it. We're going to check you out soon. Everybody, thanks for watching Ronline Report with this man, Leo Mayrhofer. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye-bye.